Lamar Jackson is back. Yes, once again, Lamar Jackson, this is just a dominating performance. It wasn't even all him, really. I mean, the entire Ravens team. I'm starting to call this like it's like the weekly Monday video I make on Lamar Jackson, because typically on these videos, I kind of like to make videos sort of about blowouts and stuff I don't have to get too into detail. Not always, but this is often what I'll do. Is typically I'll get like one or two blowouts and make a video on Monday. And it seems like the Ravens are always that team where they're always ending up blowing out another team and having an offensive player look great, which is perfect for like a Monday video. So this is their, weekly. We already got one of these videos in the books, and let's just get into what went so well against Cleveland. Honestly, I think the big thing, like my biggest realization watching this game, was just that the Ravens receivers were just dominant against the Cleveland secondary. I don't know why I almost said Indianapolis. Anyways, I think that this is a good example where it's going to be play action, so that obviously helps. But then you have a receiver who's going to run deep enough to try to get the defensive back in this cover 3 zone to try and stay shallow and cover him. That's on the bottom of the screen. And then they're going to have Marquise Brown run deep, and he's going to kind of cut over to the bottom of the screen once he gets, it'll be further off the screen, but then he's going to cut closer to the bottom of the screen. And that's the plan on this one, basically to try and get him some separation, try to get a good angle, and then all he has to do is beat a safety who's deep. And once this ball is snapped, you notice, look at this. So he pretty much has a ton of space where he can make this catch. If Lamar underthrows this, even by like 5 yards, this is still maybe a catch. But Lamar, it just makes things easier for Lamar Jackson, where he doesn't have to make a perfect throw. But just because he doesn't have to make a perfect throw doesn't mean he isn't going to. Look at this throw, too. Such a great throw. His deep ball is fantastic. This one's another, I think, really interesting play about how they were able to be so dominant. This is kind of on Cleveland. So this is the Cleveland mistake here. What's going to happen is that it's man coverage. It's going to be a cover 1 blitz. And they're going to be a little creative with it, where they have, 95, who's in a 2-point stance on the bottom of the screen. He'll be covering the halfback on this play. So because of that, it now means that, he's not going to be rushing the passer. But you're going to have two, it looks like a linebacker and a safety will be two that are rushing the passer on the top of the screen. So getting creative, trying to load up on one side, it could get someone completely free. It's actually going to work out pretty well. But the problem is going to be that, you notice that there's basically 4 Baltimore players who are all running routes all in one area. And so because of this, Cleveland really has to make sure they're all on the same page in who to cover, and they are not. You're going to notice that Willie Snead, he's going to get completely wide open here. So someone just screwed up. Someone just completely missed their assignment. They thought they were supposed to cover someone else, and that leaves Snead completely uncovered. I believe it was Taveri Thomas. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Thomas, number 20. I believe it was his fault, but I could be wrong. It's hard to totally know just because, we don't know the actual play call. But either way, someone screwed up. Snead is wide open. And give credit to Lamar. He notices this right away. He gets the ball to Snead, and Snead does a good job of running after the catch, nearly getting into the end zone. So on a 3rd down and 4 in the red zone, and at this point, it was only a 4-point game. You just don't want to make that mistake, and just a bad mistake by Cleveland. Also, of course, I have to talk about Mark Andrews. He had a great game. He had a pair of touchdowns. This one was one of them. But look at the look at the scoreboard. Notice the situation. It's 9 seconds left. Cleveland is down 11, but the 9 seconds left is the important thing. 3rd down and goal. So this is a situation where at the 9-yard line, you could just kick the field goal here. We saw Cincinnati in a similar spot. Theirs was at the end of the game, down 3 points at the 13-yard line with 7 seconds left, so a little bit less, but pretty much the same thing. They elected to kick the field goal right away, and then, of course, because it's Cincinnati, they missed the field goal. Baltimore, they're not doing that. They trust Lamar Jackson. They're going to give him an opportunity. But, for Cleveland, their whole mindset is like, hey, we're just not going to give up a touchdown right here. If you get 8 yards, that's totally fine, because unless you're going to go for it on 4th down and goal and just forego the 3 points, then you're probably just going to kick the field goal anyways. So we're just going to try and not allow a touchdown. That's why it's zone coverage all the way in the end zone. Mark Andrews, he's going to try and run, get into a gap in coverage. That's how this is going to work. These gaps are going to be tight, but Lamar Jackson's just too accurate. And, Andrews gets there pretty well. Jackson does a great job of throwing to where the gap in coverage was, not to where Andrews is. He makes Andrews work for it a little bit, but that's what you got to do. Really good throw. And again, really accurate throw. So that's just kind of what he can do. This one was another one where it's going to be man coverage right here. This is a 3rd down and 6. And you're going to see that Andrew's going to kind of run a double move where he's going to kind of fake as though he's going over the middle, but then get to the outside. This is a pretty good move because a lot of times you will have tight ends run over the middle like that, largely because it's not that difficult of a route to run. But, Andrews he's a good enough route runner as a tight end that he can get to the outside. And watch how he runs this route. He is going to eventually get open. I wouldn't say it's a perfect route. He was a little bit slow in cutting back to the outside. He's not George Kittle, but he's still pretty good in terms of route running. And he's able to make that play. And again, it just shows. I think that he's clearly a top 3 tight end in the league right now. I think there's no question. I still would say Kelsey and Kittle are ahead of him, but he's number 3, and he's showing why right there. Just a fantastic play. Like here's another one where it's going to be Willie Snead this time. He's the guy you're going to take a look at. It's going to be man coverage. He's running a route to the top of the screen. He's going to just cross over the middle once again and picking on number 20 for Cleveland right here. But watch how he's just going to get to the inside so well. What happened was that 20 tried to create contact, but Snead was able to dodge the contact, and now he's already got a step, and the play is just getting started, which is definitely good news for a receiver. He's going to get wide open. Jackson, again, perfect throw. His accuracy was fantastic today. Results in a touchdown. Just a great play by Jackson and a great start to the season for the Ravens. I think probably the most promising thing about this was that Lamar Jackson, he threw the ball 25 times. He only ran the ball 7 times. This was largely a passing attack. I think largely just because this is kind of what the situation was. It kind of, teams are going to be trying to stop the run. And if you're going to try and stop the run, Lamar Jackson is totally cool with passing the ball. He went 20 for 25, 275 with 3 touchdowns, no picks. Just a dominant performance. And Marquise Brown, there were some question marks about him. He puts up 101 actually, so there you go. Good start for the Ravens, and they're picking up right where they left off. Again, Lamar Jackson, just the most fun quarterback to watch, continues to be a blast to watch. They play Houston next week. That should be a fun game. But yeah, what were your thoughts on Lamar Jackson? Is this another good sign that he's really being so successful at throwing the ball? Or is this kind of what we expected? And it was against Cleveland. Also, Cleveland, that's just a rough way to start the season. No doubt about it. But let me know your thoughts on this whole game as a whole. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.